My first thought about this book is that my head is spinning and then rolling off of my body and rolling down 23rd Street.
It is one big noise in the food world. It is the definitive masterpiece of 21st century cooking.
I mean, this book is definitely in line with like the style of cooking that I like to do. Yeah, I just can't wait to like start reading it.
For the last 3 years, we have been working flat out, writing this 2,438-page book. So we think Modernist Cuisine is a great name both for our book and for this body of techniques that we think can be a foundation for cuisine in the 21st century.
They split us into teams and they showed us the menu for the night, and we sort of got to choose whatever we wanted to work on.
But you want to peel off and brush as you go and just rotate.
Looking at our students tonight, I don't think I've ever seen more excited, jazzed, stoked people. If you're a person in the culinary arts and you're not ecstatic tonight, you don't belong in the culinary art. You know, you're watching people who are at the top of their profession do things that are dazzling chefs.
It's a lot more exciting and the flavors are really intense and you sort of get everything in one bite.
Modernist Cuisine, I think, was all about taking classical technique to a different level and incorporating some of the new developments in food science. It brought us to different textures, flavors, and combinations than we ever knew we could enjoy.
One of my favorite tools that we use in the kitchen is centrifuge, and basically you get pea puree and we spin it at 13,000 Gs. The top layer is this juice, very bright, very intense. In the middle layer, we call it pea butter. We spun 150 pounds of peas just for this bag.
For some of the chefs, that's pushing the boundaries in an aesthetic sense. They're creating food that doesn't look like traditional food, doesn't necessarily taste like traditional food. It's unusual in its aesthetic. Other chefs use this knowledge to create food that is traditional aesthetic, but is created via these new techniques. Techniques that allow greater control, greater flexibility, and just a better product.
Take your time. You know, even if they start bunching up, much rather it be perfect for them. Quality is everything. So I studied at ICE for 5 months. There's an open-mindedness it was incredible. It's very important to start how the students start here. You know, I mean, you need to know the basics. Sauce making is a great example. I mean, for stocks, we use pressure cookers. Instead of 4 hours, it takes an hour. But the extraction is also better. You have more flavor. So you teach a student that, you say, okay, well, you need to know why water extracts the stock that way. Why would you cook it for 4 hours? Now, here's an easier way, but also a better way.
The thing that this book does is it takes a lot of information that it's not very easily accessible that's out there, and it kind of puts it into one place.
One of the ideas we had early on in developing the book was that we would try to show people things rather than tell them. And to do that, we needed to take a set of photos that were really totally unlike the conventional photos that you would find in most food books. We would actually slice things in half to show what was happening to food inside the pot, inside the food. So the magic view, the X-ray vision of what's happening when you cook.
It sort of demystifies the magic of cooking, and it makes a lot of sense, and that's because it's science, and it's the science that we learned in high school, and it's the science we all learned at culinary school, and cooking is fire and power and temperature, and you know, it's all these things that seem sort of like we never question, we never think about, and we're taught in culinary school to do, but not necessarily the why. Well, that's, I think, what Nathan and his team have done.
We set out to map a certain territory It's a little bit like, you know, Columbus coming to, or other people coming to a new continent, and you start out thinking it's small, and you discover, oops, it's a whole continent.
It's a tantalizing frontier to experiment with. To be at the launch of a book that doubtless is going to change people's perception of food for the next 20, 40, 50 years. You can't overstate that. You know, this is kind of the Beatles' first concert.